Welcome back to Nashville on day one of the SEC men's basketball tournament. I just vaguely remember 2 years ago sitting outside in the sun in Tampa, and the talk of the tournament was our next guest. Buzz Williams joining us from Texas A&M.
I was sweating that day.
You were on literally every day. I mean, we finally had to leave. You broke the record.
We did the same last year. We've been to the championship game the last 2 years.
You've done
This environment's a little better. It's a little cooler.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind being outside.
You didn't have on a tie, though.
No. Well, and this one's coming off quickly as soon as you leave. Coach, great to see you.
Good to see you.
It seems like you've been down this road before. You don't know what your fate is, but you know you have to win.
That's right. And I think that's as plainly stated as it can be. What do we have to do? Are we in? I've just tried to stay away from all of it over the last few weeks. I think the best thing to do is just keep playing, and in order to keep playing, we need to win.
I know you can't keep young people away from it all, because that's part of it. I mean, it's what everybody's talking about, which is fine. That's what March Madness means. But how do you separate the speculation from the reality of, okay, this is who we're playing, and this is what we have to do?
Yeah, I think our guys have been really good, partly because of their character, partly because of their maturity, and in truth, because they've been through it before. So I think we have experience of being in this exact position. As you mentioned, when we played in Tampa, we were 9-9. We had a really poor non-conference schedule and played 4 games in 4 days and lost in the championship game. Last year we were 15-3 in regular season in the SEC. We knew we were in and then played 3 games to get to the championship game. This year we played among the top 20 toughest non-conference schedules. So does the committee reward playing all of those quad 1 games? It's too difficult to tell. But we play tomorrow. We need to win tomorrow. Does that move the needle? How much? What's next? Who else is playing? So many things you can't control, but hopefully you can control your own group and being better than we were in the regular season, which is required to keep playing this season.
Coach, as you reflect back on this season, and I know it's maybe a little bit early for too much self-analysis, but it's never early to think about what this journey has been like. How would you describe it?
I'm very grateful because there's been multiple times, in my opinion, where our guys could have said, that's enough. This is too hard. This is too much. It's more than we bargained for, but they've had great resolve. They've had great resiliency, and I think that speaks to who they are, which speaks to who their parents are and how they've been raised.
We've had a lot of fun talking to you over the years because you have that personality, but I realize you're also a great basketball coach. I mean, how did the two intermingle? Because you are, I've never been one of your players, but I've always had fun talking to you. But what are the guys on the court think?
I hope they would say the same thing about me. I pretty much am the same person to you that I am to them.
Right.
Sometimes they hear maybe a little different vocabulary than what's allowed on the SEC network.
Thank you.
But I think that they know who I am. I think that they know that my love is not based on their performance. They know that I care about them. And I also think that in this model of college athletics, I think it has to come down to trust. And they have to know that they trust you not only to become a better player, but that they trust you to become a better person. And I think their sphere of influence, parents still want their sons to be around good people. And that's not just me, that's the people that are on our staff. And that's also their teammates. And I think that our staff has done a great job identifying the right talent, but also the right character. And I'm not saying we go about things the right way, but I do think the longevity of our time, whether we've been at Texas A&M or the other places we've been, hopefully that there's evidence that we try to do right, and the experience makes them better people and better players.
We're chatting with Buzz Williams. You mentioned character. I just got a chance to meet your family.
Thank you.
So much is made out of the secondary aspect of being a coach, but you're a son and a daughter and a wife. I mean, they hear all the things you probably want them to hear when things are good, but don't want them to hear. How does that part enter?
Well, all of the children in our program, no matter where we've lived, have always had all access. They can come to any practice. They can go on any trip. Any wife can go on any trip. Sometimes that's a little costly. My oldest daughter is finishing college at James Madison. My youngest son is a senior in high school, and he's on his senior trip. That's actually Mason is 18, so this is the first conference tournament he hasn't been to. So you met my oldest son and youngest daughter, and they've seen all of it. They know all of the players. They know all of the parents. And I think that that's also a good example for our players to see families, not just mine, but all of our assistants are here. And I think everybody says family, but family is an acronym for forget about me, I love you. And I think when they can see true love, not just in words but in action, I think that impacts their heart. And hopefully long term it helps them as fathers and husbands.
That would seem to be a big cornerstone in recruiting. However, recruiting isn't what it used to be.
No, sir, it's not the same.
You've done at some really great jobs at Marquette and at Tech and here and many places as an assistant. You're still in the midst of your career, but what are your thoughts on everything that has happened?
I have a lot of thoughts. I've tried to be measured in my words. I don't want to be emotional in a response, but it is different, and I don't think anybody knows where it's going. And so I think you have to make a decision on relative to the new ways of operating as a leader, not just as a coach, but as a leader. What things are you not going to sacrifice? And what things are you going to have as cornerstones, not only in your program on the court, but off the court? And then are you willing to lose your career if you're not going to sacrifice those things? And I just finished my 17th year as a head coach, and I'm kind of at the point where, as you said, I'm not old, but I'm not young. But I am pretty convicted about what I think matters the most in life. Does that mean we're going to get the best players? No. We do not have the best players today, and I'm also not the best coach today. And I don't want my identity to be exclusive to the job that I have, whether it's at Texas A&M or whether it's as a coach. But I do hope that my character and my work ethic matters, and I hope that it matters long term, long after I'm a coach and long after they can play. And so I think what I'm drawn to are people that understand my language. And my language is best on people that things have not always worked out the best, and they've had to overcome. And that's the position as we enter week 28 of this basketball season. Who are we, and what can we overcome? And so in many respects, when we were 6-4, I think that we had a lot more support than we had when we were 6-9. But to the people on Team Bus One, to win the last 3 in a row, to finish 9-9, to even be in this conversation, I think that speaks to character, in my opinion. I think that speaks to work ethic, and I think that speaks to the ability to overcome. And so, in truth, I understand it's a neutral site. I understand it's the SEC tournament. There's more exposure. But the aspect of overcoming, Paul, it's the story of my life, and it's actually the story of most of our assistants and most of our players.
And I don't know everything about your life, but I do know the beginning wasn't easy. And having been around you enough times, when you think back, and again, this is a sport that has a lot of amazing stories, but I've always found yours to be so unique. And I don't know how. I mean, I know you've talked about it, but I mean, how do you think, as you reflect back now at this point, how did you overcome some of the things?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of people helping me. People that helped me when they didn't have to help me. People who helped me when they didn't know that it was going to become this. And I think the one thing, as I probably am closer to the end than I am at the beginning, I hope that I can be that for others. People that were helping me as a junior college manager, people that were helping me as an NAIA manager when they didn't even know who I was. And despite all of the exposure and all of the notoriety and all of the good things that come from this, can I still help people when there's not anything in it for me? Because there have been so many people coaches and otherwise that have taught me, been willing to support me, provide wisdom that they had no reason other than to give. And so I hope part of who I am is someone that'll give and somebody that'll help.
I mean, I realize we're 4 days removed from the Oscars, and I'm not trying to turn this into a moment, but was there a moment that it could have gone either way?
Oh, for sure. Paul, I'm not supposed to be the coach at Texas A&M. I was hoping to be a high school coach, and then I went to junior college, and the court is named after my junior college coach. He's in the Junior College Hall of Fame, and I was just wondering if someday I could be his assistant. And now he'll be 87 tomorrow, and he's been with us all 17 years that I've been a head coach. And so Coach Orr is just one of those people, but there's been people along the path that, not because of me, I think there's a higher power that's kind of placed people that at that moment in time have been mentors to me, and I still have them, and I'm 51 now, and now I'm trying to see if I can return the favor.
How do you do that? Because you have a lot on your plate.
I do.
It's not like you and everyone, I'm sure, as you're working your way through, give me a call if I can help, and then you look down and you're in the middle. How do you pay it forward?
Yeah, I think people that want to be helped don't necessarily want something from you other than to learn. And I think that's one thing throughout my time. I never tried to ask to be on the Paul Feinbaum show. But along the way, if I don't have to ask, but it's an opportunity to learn, then I actually want to help those people more. And so that's the way I've always tried to do it with all of the fired coaches, with all of the retired coaches. I don't want anything from you. I don't want your name on my resume. I don't need you to make a call for me. I just want to learn, because I think knowledge is currency. Wisdom is currency. And I think those currencies, character is currency. And over time, if you can hang in there long enough, I think those things will pay dividends. And I think they're compound dividends. So there were multiple times when it could have went south. And in truth, if I was the coach at Trevecca Nazarene, I would have overcame a lot here in Nashville. That I'm the coach at Texas A&M, I just feel very grateful, and I'm humbled by it. And because of all of that, I just want to keep my ego out of the way and try to help others, because so many people have helped me.
How do you do that, though? How do you keep your ego out of when you are the
I don't look at my phone. I don't look at social media. I don't watch your show.
Good.
I don't watch the SEC network.
You should
and
never
if I
watch
do, I just turn the volume down so I don't hear Tom Hart, so I don't hear Jimmy Dykes, so I don't hear we're on the bubble. We shouldn't be on the bubble. We're in. Joe Lunardi said this. It just makes me anxious, and so I just try to stay away from all of it.
But I have had countless coaches say, I don't read,
I read a lot. I read a book every week and have for years. I read a lot.
But you try not
but
to
I don't read opinions. I just read things that I can try to gather information and learn and wisdom. But the up to the minute, what's happening, what's the net, I stay away from it.
Your family can't avoid it.
They know way more than I do.
I mean, I'll say
But they don't ask me.
Because I just met your wife.
She knows all of it.
In my career.
We could put her up here. She could tell you.
Next time we will. But I have had more problems with wives and children than the coaches, and it's usually distorted.
It is distorted because their wives and coaches are their wives and children, and they care about their dad and their husband.
Right.
I think my wife, Corey, just does a fabulous job of kind of keeping it at arm's distance and trying to keep me in the lane that I need to be in.
When we get to College Station, which will be pretty quickly in the football season,
I'll be there.
Can we? But
she'll be on.
Yeah, we'll do a segment with her.
It'll be her first ever exposure on the SEC network. She'll do a good job.
Book it right now. I'll give you the exact date as soon as he quits talking.
It's good to see you.
Coach, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being nice to me.
We love you.
Appreciate it.
No matter what the record is. Well, we like you better when we're
Texas A&M fans like it better when we win more.
Well, they love you, and they should. We'll take a short break. Thanks to Buzz for being here. Buzz Williams. A lot more to do. Stick around.